We had a client that we worked with, and she was really struggling with profitability. She kept raising tuition. She actually did 3 tuition increases within a 15-month cycle, and she still could not catch up. So I helped her work with our 6 money leaks in schools, and she only used 3 of the 6 money leaks and cut her expenses by 50%. 50. She did not fire anyone. She did not slash any of her programs, and she did not work more hours. Again, the 6 money leaks are not hacks or spreadsheets. These are patterns. They are small decisions that feel so normal that your school does, but they quietly drain your school's profit. So if you've ever wondered why you're working so hard, but still not seeing the return, this is your first step to clarity. Click the link in the show notes and find out what it's actually costing you. Welcome to the Schools of Excellence podcast, where we have conversations about education, leadership, and building a school of excellence. The goal on this show is to bring you clarity, up-level your mindset, and give you practical strategies and inspiration so you can show up with confidence and trust your decision-making. I'm Sheila Smozynski. I'm a mom of 4 under 10, a former New Yorker, and been in the early childhood field my entire life. And I'm so grateful that you've joined me for this conversation. Welcome back to another episode of the Schools of Excellence podcast. Today's a special episode because I'm going to take you behind the scenes to get to know one of our members of our Owners HQ program. Her name is Sheila Smozynski, and you're going to listen to our VP of Operations and Head of Product, Michalina, have this conversation with Sheila. In this conversation, Sheila really shares with us the struggles, the successes, the grief, the milestones, the roller coasters, the joys, all the things that come with being a school leader. Some of the highlights of this conversation is where Sheila talks about before joining our Owners HQ program, she felt that she was alone and on an island. When she started listening to the Schools of Excellence podcast, she started realizing that there is value in joining a community of like-minded leaders. Over her time inside of the Schools of Excellence program, she felt revitalized in her passion for her center and career building in her legacy and her school culture. Since joining our program, she's been able to take 3 vacations a year and walk away and enjoy, knowing that her center directors run each location and make the best decisions that are aligned with company values in her absence. Another one of her highlights is being able to prioritize self-care, like regular massages, mental health care, personal time with her family. She's also been able to reset her priorities and take care of herself in all areas of her life while still excelling and growing her center. I hope you enjoy the conversation that we had with Sheila.
All right. So Sheila, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me your name, what center you are in, what your role is, and where you're located.
All right. So my name is Sheila Smozynski. I actually have 2 childcare centers just north of Madison, Wisconsin. 2 programs. One we consider our preschool program, which is our birth 6 weeks up to 4K. That center is licensed for 78 kids. And then I also have a second center that I own that is what we consider our school age program. So that's anybody who's in 4K and older up through 4th grade. And that facility is licensed for 82 kids. So altogether, over 150 kiddos. And then we also collaborate with our school district running our 4K program, as well as our childcare center. So we also offer 4K to a group of about 80 children during the school year. So,
amazing. That's amazing.
That's us.
So how long have you been part of the Owners HQ program?
I just celebrated 1 year.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Exciting. Yay.
I know. I like when I was talking to Honey, I was like, I don't even know how it came up, but I'm like, it's been a year. I can't believe it. It went fast and it's been great. So
yeah, amazing. So tell me a little bit about what was going on in your center before you started the program. Like, what was life like for you and your staff and the challenges that you were facing?
You know, I've owned my center for 17 years and we've always been a high quality, excellent school. We have highly educated staff. We have compassionate staff. And then we ran into COVID. And that's really what brought me to the group. The center was running great. And then when COVID hit, I felt like I was standing in the middle of an ocean all by myself. I didn't know where to go, where to turn. I had support systems through my staff, through my 2 management directors. Our community came together really well, but I still felt like I was just an island. Like I didn't know where to go or where to turn. I felt really lost, super frustrated, kind of wanted to throw in the towel. To be honest, at that point, we were, a year into COVID. It wasn't going away. Staff morale was starting to slip. The restrictions put on us as far as what I felt was inhibiting or prohibiting our quality care. We weren't able to have a lot of the things in the classrooms that I felt were essential to quality care. So I just had to, I was looking for a way to just find a group of people, a place where I could share, a place to share ideas, to gather ideas from. I just felt like there was nobody else experiencing what I was that I could reach out to. And that was really where, when I just literally stumbled across a Facebook post with, I think it was a podcast, and I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? What is this group? And I started listening to the podcasts, and I was like, these people get me. This is what I need. I need to have a place that's safe, that has people who value quality, who understand what quality means, who have, my longevity and my team. I was starting to fear that they were going to start throwing in the towel and walking away. Finding not just Hani, but then the connections I made with the staff, with the other people in the group, I was able to say, oh my gosh, it's not just me. I'm not standing here by myself in the middle of an island. And I started to grow a little tribe, I guess, on my island of people who I could help share frustrations, help brainstorm ideas, come to the table with, this is what I'm dealing with. What are you doing about it? And it really helped me feel like I had a support system I needed to keep going, because I was ready to throw in the towel, to be honest, at that point as well.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where you were like, this is the realization of this is a program for me? Or was there hesitations? You just were jumping on it? Or did you have any hesitations at first?
The only hesitation I had is the cost. I was a little taken aback, you know what I mean? But once I realized this was the place for me, I knew I wanted to be a part of the group. I just knew that this is where I wanted to be. I had tried a couple other programs and different places to go early COVID. And like I said, when I found Hani's group and just started listening to the different stories people were telling, I was like, I need to make this work. I need to figure out how this is going to fit in my budget and how I can be a part of something that's going to make me be better and almost revitalize my passion, because I had kind of lost a little bit of that. So that was really it. I had my call with Hani, and it was everything I wanted. Everything we talked about was this is the place for me. This is, I had, like I said, I flirted with a couple other programs and I just didn't feel the connection. Mm-hmm. And so when I met with her and then she threw out the dollar amount, I was a little big breath. I said, give me a couple days. And, I just made it work. I had to figure out how to make it work. And then, we talked about my directors. And once again, this is an industry that doesn't always have money to just throw away. We have to be really cognizant of our budgets. So that was kind of a cost that kind of held me back from bringing my directors on. But once again, I got to that point where it was they need to grow with me, because if they're not part of the program, they're not going to grow with me. Mm-hmm. So bringing them on recently, I think, has been a really good move for us. And once again, it was going back to that table and figuring out, where can we make this work financially for our center? Because that everything about being a part of this community and being a part of this group of owners was a no-brainer for me. I wanted to be a part of that.
Absolutely. So you spent a whole entire year in the program and then decided to bring in your directors. You have 2 directors who are just going to start soon. Yep. So you obviously found the value. It was totally worth the cost for the value that you were getting in return.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. The personal growth that I've had, the mindset shifts I've had, have made me a better leader. And I wanted to make sure my directors who, once again, they run amazing centers. They do a great job, with staffing, with all the pieces, parent interaction stuff. But there was just that next step, that next growth. We've taken all the classes, we've done all the continuing ed. Mm-hmm. This is something different. It's not, it's a different growth. It's not a knowledge growth as far as this is how you balance the books or this is how you do CPR. It's a different type of growth for me that really changed not just who I am as a leader in my center, but also gave me an opportunity to be a better mom, a better wife. I look at things differently as a result of being in the program. So
the ripple effect of it has gone into your personal life as well.
Correct. It really has. Even just things like I don't take work home with me. And that means not just physically taking work home with me. I don't mentally take work home with me anymore. I've learned to manage my days. I think my biggest takeaway as far as just being able to manage my life better, which is something I really needed because in the middle of COVID, I felt like everything was just spinning out of control, was that whole time management piece, the time blocking. My husband laughs at me because every Sunday I sit down with I'm old school. I have to do paper calendar, but I sit down with my book and there's some things that I keep in my phone on my Google Calendar, just as reminders that'll come up because also I get a little busy with something and I'll forget, I have a meeting or I have a Zoom call, but everything gets planned out and time blocked. I give myself lots and lots of white space because my days involve a lot of justifiable interruptions. I don't want to say, I'm really good at putting my please come back at noon, and not only if the school's on fire and you just called 911 sign at my door. My staff respect that. They know that that's what I call my fire time. That's where I'm working really hard to make sure our center is running at the best it can. But by being able to time block and increase my productivity during the day, I've been able to walk away from my desk at the end of the day and leave everything behind, which I've been doing this, I've been in childcare for 30 years, and I don't know when my brain has gone home and been able to actually shut off work and be able to focus on the family. And I have adult children, so I wish I kind of would have found you guys a little bit sooner because it would have been a lot better for my kids had a great childhood, but I look back at when they were younger and the time that my job mentally, even just, sitting at home, not being present for them. So it's fun. My son's in college. He's home for the summer. We call it family dinner a couple times a week. His girlfriend comes over, my daughter comes over, and we sit down and have family time. And it's nice because even as adult children, sometimes you don't get to connect, but to be fully present and hear them and listen to them and be a part of their adult lives is really, really awesome. It's cool. It's that I can be a part of what's going on with them as adults too. And it's just a whole different ballgame. But, my husband, we go for walks at night. We don't, I'm not sitting with my laptop open. We get to spend more quality time together. We're traveling, I've been able to say, okay, my center can survive without me. And I'm going to go on vacation. We go on vacation 3 times a year. And I honestly just walk away. I just trust that my 2 directors, between the 2 of them, will make the right decision. And I'm able to literally just take that break that I need to come back and be the person I need to be for my team. So,
wow, it's amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I love
and it's
that.
A lot of it is just, that productivity. If I don't time block, I am literally flailing through my day. Yeah. I'll get to 3, 4 in the afternoon and be like, what did I do today? But if I time block, I walk away feeling so accomplished and so ready to start the next day, knowing that I'm ready to move on to the next tasks. It's a really great tool that I don't know if I would have came across without you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, I love that. I actually would love to learn a little bit more about what you've learned in the program, how you've translated that into your center as well, like your staff. How are they learning from you? How has that relationship changed, if at all?
Always had a great staff.
Yeah.
And they've always interestingly looked at me as a role model as far as how we operate and how we handle things. I think the big thing was COVID gave me all the control. I've always trusted, like I said, my directors, they make the calls. If it's the wrong call, we'll talk about it later, but we never throw anybody under the bus kind of thing. Yeah. But I think during COVID, because I had to make so many of the decisions that had to happen as far as protocol and just everything, it took away their ability to be able to make decisions. So as we came out of this whole COVID nonsense and rules started kind of backing off and the staff were able to make more decisions, I think that they didn't know how to anymore. They just didn't know parents would come to them with a question. They'd just be like, I'll have to check, And so I think part of it is I've given them back their voice through the program, through listening to the podcast, through listening to the strategic advisories and how other people are handling their centers. I've been able to allow them to grow again and be able to be more confident in their position. I think is probably the biggest growth that's come out of this, because I don't think without the support system I had giving back that control, because I'm kind of a control freak. I think anybody in this position might be,
Sure.
So, I kind of liked being able to the one that always called the shots, but, being able to step back and say, I trust you. I believe in you. You have the ability to do this, and giving them back that confidence has really allowed them to start making their decisions and, having ownership in their classroom. I'm not a micromanager. I don't micromanage as a manager. I assume everybody's going to do their job the best they can. Now, I still do classroom observations. We still have one-on-ones, and I think going back to for them, I think the one-on-ones, that was one of the things I grabbed from Schools of Excellence. I would check in with my staff. I'd pop in the morning. We'd have a quick conversation. Oh, how are the kids? What'd you do this weekend? And, I think they felt appreciated that I took interest in their lives, but we started doing one-on-ones and we started making them a habit and making them part of every month. We block out time on the calendar with each of my directors and we meet with everybody one-on-one. And, the first couple took a long time, longer than I thought they would. But the fact that they actually had a listening ear that literally put everything aside and said, tell me what's going on. What do you need from me? I would grab questions off of the list from Schools of Excellence and kind of throw them for a little bit of a loop, because initially when you call everybody in the office, they're all thinking, oh crap, what's going on? That fear factor sets in for everybody. Now they know, we've been doing them for 8 months. They know when they look forward to it. They look forward to having that listening ear, and they know that they're going to get that opportunity for Angie and I, or one of us, to sit down with them and say, how's it going? What do you need? How are you thinking about this? And it gets their brains thinking, and it gets them kind of thinking a little bit more besides just the day-to-day operations of their classroom. But we've just had a huge goals and values setting kind of process. And we came up with our core values. And then I met with everybody one-on-one and we talked about those and how those look in the classroom. What does respecting family look like in your classroom? How does that play out? What is that looking at? And that was just nice, because once we had those core values, everybody knew what the game plan was. Everybody knew how we function. I kind of always felt like we all kind of had the same values, but this was putting it out on paper and putting it out there. So now that people know what we value, it also kind of created a more cohesive team as a result of it. But the one-on-ones have been a huge factor of giving them that listening ear. And then, like I said, giving them back the ownership that they need. And the one-on-ones were part of that as well.
1,000%. It's amazing. Incredible. Yeah. I would love to learn a little bit more about your experience with the community of at the Schools of Excellence.
Oh, gosh. I have met so many amazing and wonderful people. We just finished the efficiency challenge, letting go of efficiency. And honestly, I was hesitant to jump on. I just was like, And I got to meet an owner from Israel.
Yes.
How cool is that? Alana is rocking it over there. We shared such great ideas. And it was just, for me, the fact that she's halfway around the world and we're sharing similar experiences. Who would have thought? Who would have even, and when would I get an opportunity to meet somebody from Israel? Right. That's a great thing. But I think, even people I've met through other challenges I attended the summit last March. So I got to connect face to face with people. Those relationships that I made, a lot of social media, Facebooking and messaging back and forth, just saying, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. And you just get that love back that says, you're not the only one. Here's what I've done to do it. I don't have to be the one that comes up with all the solutions. I don't have to be the one that comes up with how are we going to deal with this, because there's this whole group of amazing people who have ideas I've never even thought of, and being able to throw that out safely, which I think for me was a big thing, kind of a reserved person. I don't like to put myself out there a lot, but knowing that there was safety in the group as well, that it was not someplace where anybody was going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you had to deal with that. And granted, we do say that sometimes, oh my gosh, I can't believe that parent said that, but it's that love back that helps you grow as an individual. I've done hot seats with Sharon, who's made me think quickly about oh yeah, that would work, or I'll check back in with you after I try that, so there's accountability as well, which Lord knows, as the owner, accountability can go out the window at any point. You really have nobody holding you accountable but yourself. So having that accountability with the other owners and saying, oh, how did that work out for you, really helps me be better too. I don't just push it off and be like, oh, that's going to the bottom of the to-do list because I don't want to deal with it. So it's been an amazing experience. I am definitely coming back next March. You will see me at the summit. I just feel like it was an interesting experience for me because I wasn't sure what to expect. I came by myself, which if for any reason someone is going and they're contemplating it, go, put yourself outside your comfort level. I mean, it was the best thing I did. I don't, I like to travel in numbers or safety. There's comfort in that. But I really wanted to do this by myself because we talked about bringing my directors with me to that. When I registered for it. And I really felt like this was just something I needed to do for me so that I could connect with and be a part of something. I had to force myself to kind of do that. But it was one of the best growth experiences I think I had. It really made me think at a higher level, a different way of looking at, just looking at my legacy. What does that look like? what does that mean long term for us? And that was a huge part of that too. So it really made me step back and look at the bigger picture of just what this all is.
Right. Yeah. Curious what your thoughts were on the campfires at the event.
You're probably not going to like my feedback.
That's okay.
I was not a huge fan of them.
Okay. What group are you part of?
I was with Sharon.
Okay.
So I don't know. I didn't take away what I thought I would. So I actually am sitting on the email and I'm like, I think I need to give it another shot because I do love connecting with people. You know what I mean? The connecting piece of it. I don't know. It's just, the story shared didn't resonate with me.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was a little tricky for me. I felt kind of like an odd man out there. I don't know, which was weird because I didn't feel that way overall. And I did talk to Hani about this a little bit when we met after we had our one-on-one afterwards. It was a little, I don't know, we were supposed to pair up afterwards. And I just was kind of standing there by myself and I tried to pair up with people. And it just kind of was like, I had one person who said, no, I want to be with this person. It was just really, and I know they didn't mean it to be, but I felt like that high school girl standing there going, what?
Right. That's okay.
I did end up with, I think his name's Ryan Dauberson, and then another lady. And, I'll be really honest. I'm in a little bit different time in my life than a lot of people that are coming. For me, I'm looking at, what's my exit plan? What is that going to look like? Sure. So a lot of the people I was with, we were talking about kind of growth and buying more centers and those type of things. So that was it was hard for me.
Yeah.
So I still have their contact information and stuff, but both of them were looking at expanding their centers. So that was really where the conversation went, where for me, I don't really want to expand. I had the opportunity about a year ago to collaborate with a business that wanted to put a childcare center in for their employees / community. And I actually walked away from it and said, no, I don't think I want to grow right now. I just want to, I want to kind of figure out the other direction. So it's just, sometimes it's hard for me in a sense that the conversations that are happening about growth and acquiring more centers or whatever that is, that's not my phase of life right now.
Sure.
And I keep reassuring my staff because I don't want them to freak out. Exit plan doesn't mean selling. I just need to figure out when I'm ready to leave.
Yeah.
What does that look like for me? Is that selling? Is that handing the reins over to somebody else? Are my kids interested in this place? What does that look like? So I guess, I did not have a great experience with the campfires, but I'm not.
That's okay. No, I think that it's kind of very interesting because for me, it's really good feedback because it does really matter where people are in the season of life, where they are in the season of just, ownership of their centers, because it does change how you guys interact and what you guys are actually connecting on. Right. So, all, feedback is still good feedback in the end, right? Because I think in the end, maybe you had a poorer experience just because they were not connecting with you the same way. But if it had been somebody that was, it could have been a completely different scenario,
and like Ryan was at my table. And I connected well with Ryan. It wasn't just because they're in a different season of life, I don't, because him and Catherine, I believe, is his wife. Those two, I still connect with them outside of the group. I talk to her and stuff. We're friends on Facebook. So I don't feel like there was a disconnect being with them, but there were a couple other people that were at my table who I felt like we were kind of in a similar place. I don't think they're part of the group anymore, or they were kind of looking at it. But now one is Diane Sanchez.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't think she's part of the group right now.
No, not yet.
But her and I connected really well. I've actually run across her in some of Beth's stuff, Beth Cannon's trainings and stuff. And there was a Sylvia, I can't remember her last name.
Valdez.
Yes. And she's kind of in the same circle of life as I was. She was leaving the conference and she was heading to go look at retirement homes in Florida, So,
wow.
Yeah. So I did connect with people. I thought it was a great experience to go to the summit, but
awesome.
That particular, everything else was amazing. Though. I can't say one bad word about anything. That's overall, even the campfire, even though it wasn't the greatest thing for me, I still thought it was a good group.
Yeah.
I really, the mimes, not the mimes,
I can't think of the name.
Yeah, we had things out without talking. Oh my God, that was the best. I was so outside my comfort level that I was like, I do not want to do this. And by the time it was done, I absolutely thought it was the most hysterical thing I've ever been a part of. So.
Oh, totally. Right. It's funny because we have videos and we have photos of everyone going no, like, I don't want to do this.
Oh yeah.
And by the end, they're literally crying, laughing. It's so funny.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm like trying to figure out how to do that. Like, see if I can bring in a group up here with my staff for one of our staff trainings, because I think they would get a hoot out of that. So
I definitely suggest that. I feel like it just helps you connect a lot better. I feel like it's a really fun experiment for yourself, like personally, on a personal level, just, getting to know yourself and like laughing at the things that you do is totally what we need to be able to do at any time, right? Not just forced into bed, right?
We can't be serious all the time.
Exactly. Have fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have the next question is really more about your future. So I would love to know a little bit more about what goals you currently have for you in the center at the moment.
My goals right now. Well, we're a 5-star center, which in Wisconsin is our Young Star rating system. And you can go about it 2 ways. So one is through accreditations. We do have one of our centers is accredited. The other one is through the Young Star process. So it's a whole binder full of criteria similar to accreditation, but it's done via our state. So both centers are up for renewal this fall. So that's our biggest focus as far as just business operations go, is getting both centers reevaluated and into 5 stars. So there's a lot of mindset work with our staff. We have great longevity with our staff, but we've recently seen some turnover. And not turnover because people are unhappy, but turnover because one of my staff went to go be a minister. One of my staff went to go be her assistant minister. Like, just like crazy, like great growth opportunities for my staff. And one of the things I truly believe in is supporting my staff in their education. So here in Wisconsin, we have what we call Teach Scholarships, and Teach Scholarships offer staff who are part of a childcare center to go back to school and get their associate's degree in early childhood and then a 4-year degree in elementary ed or 4K, and you literally pay 5% of the tuition. The state pays 90% of the tuition, and we pay 5% of the tuition. So those are great opportunities to grow our staff in education. So we recently had some staff that left to go to the school district because, that's kind of their next step. So as we've lost a couple staff, we've had to rehire new staff. So we have some great young staff that have come in, but they need a lot of mentoring. They need a lot of coaching. And so I think my new goal is, like everybody was talked about, it's the wishing well way. It's the way we do things. It's that culture that we've built over the years, redefining and reacclimating staff to that. Because I think, once again, I hate to bring back COVID, but that kind of dampened our culture here. And so that was part of the reset with our values, is bringing those back in and then hiring people who fit those value systems. So I think it's regrowing our culture here to fit what we really believe in, and making sure that everybody who comes on board is a part of that value system. So that's kind of that. I think as far as, long-term, I talked a little bit earlier, I am looking for what does life hold for me as I get ready to retire. So it's making sure I have systems in place. It's making sure I have the things I need to be able to do what I want to do as I age up. I want to travel. I want to spend time with my husband. I want to do some fun things. I don't want to just die working. So I need to find that balance. And Schools of Excellence has helped me, as I've spoken, find that, as far as being able to walk away from my job and be able to focus on family at the end of the day, or to take vacations and do things. But, for me, it's making sure my managers, my 2 directors, are leading the way that I would lead. And that's why we brought them into the Circus Schools of Excellence, is so that they share that, so that, when they take over the full reins, I can know that they're doing it the way I want them to. So I don't know. Yeah.
No, I love it. Is there any other way that we haven't spoken about that Schools of Excellence has added value to you, your life, or your center?
Sure there is.
That's okay. If not, no worries.
It's been just overall such a huge growth experience for me to like kind of nitpick it into those pieces.
That's okay.
For me, it's given me some freedom I didn't realize I've had before. Being able to, at the drop of a hat, yesterday we had my cousin from Washington State was in town. So in town means northern Wisconsin. It's about 2.5 hour drive for me. And all my aunts and all my cousins, like everybody was getting together for the day. And I hemmed and hawed. And I was like, do I go? Do I not go? Do I go? Do I not go? So then I called my sister, who lives an hour south of me, which would be a 3-hour drive for her. I said, let's go together. Come with me. Let's do this. Let's go visit our aunts and see everybody. And she couldn't take the day off. She couldn't do it. She just couldn't leave work. And being a part of Schools of Excellence, I can do that. I can have the systems in place that allow me to say, I can go do this. It's giving me some freedoms in a sense of, I know things are being taken care of. I know that in a weird way, my job isn't the most important thing in my life, thanks to a value reset.
Yeah.
It's important, but it doesn't always have to take that top priority when other things come up. So I think that for me is probably just that mindset shift of where my priorities are. Just what's my top three, and work isn't always the one that's at number one, depending on the day. And that's huge for me. Like, I was a workaholic. I mean, I think a lot of people can relate to that, where I was in my center for 60 hours a week. I'd come in every weekend and I was the repairs and maintenance person. And I took care of everything. And I've come to realize that my time is valuable too. And that family is important, and just mental health's important. I take time every month to go get a massage, sometimes twice a month. I do those things that reset my mind and help me as well, which I don't know that I would have made time for prior to Schools of Excellence. They really help me set my priorities and think about what's the highest value for me. What's at this point going to be the best thing for me to do in order to be the best owner and manager I can be. So
love it. That's amazing. Okay. So last question.
All right.
If a friend or colleague were to tell you they were considering joining the owners program or the directors in a circle, what would you tell them?
Do it without hesitation. I would highly encourage it. I mean, this program has brought to me so much, like I've mentioned, between just a better person. I think I'm a better person. I do. I think I'm a more compassionate, more thoughtful person, which helps a lot in a lot of areas of life. But I can't say one reason not to join. There is value every time you turn around. There's something you're going to gain, some piece of knowledge. And sometimes when I look at a podcast theme or I look at something, I'm like, oh, I got that. I know that. I know how to enroll kids, or I know how to talk to staff in difficult conversations. I got that. And I don't. Every time I listen to a podcast or I work through another piece of the Schools of Excellence pyramid, I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. So there's always little pieces of nuggets that I get that I'm like, yeah, or even if I knew it, or I think it's a good reminder for me to be like, oh yeah, step back and look at it from this perspective. So it's brought just some new thinking for me that I think has been really helpful. So I think there's always something to learn. And if you're looking to grow, this is definitely the program to be in.
Thank you so much, Sheila. It was a great conversation. I love speaking and hearing all.
But you made it very easy.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much.
I hope that you enjoyed listening to Sheila's in-depth story, everything that comes along with her amazing journey inside of our Owners HQ program. What I want you to be inspired by when you listen to this story is these don't have to just be long-distance dreams that one day you achieve. These goals and dreams are possible for you. Sheila has been able to experience this because of doing the work, showing up, committing to herself, and doing the work. And so if you resonated with today's episode and you enjoyed listening to it, I want to tell you a little bit about our Owners HQ program. Our Owners HQ program is for owners or executive managers, regional leaders who are interested in coming together with community, high-level coaching and mentorship, as well as understanding that they're looking for solution-based thinking. They're looking to disrupt their thinking. They're looking to elevate their mindset. They're looking to stop doing things the way that they've always done them and saying, there is a better way. There's a smarter way. There's a better model for me to operate from. And if that is you, and you're looking for that type of community, you're looking for those types of leaders to collaborate with, and you're looking for high-level training and done-for-you systems, coaching and mentorship, and the opportunity to up-level yourself, then I really encourage you to check out our Owners HQ program. The link is in the show notes. It's by application only. We're very, very selective about who joins our program because we have worked very hard to curate and bring together an incredible group of leaders. So if you're interested, click the link in the show notes, read more about our Owners HQ program, our Directors Inner Circle, fill out an application, and I look forward to connecting with you. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you tune again next week for another episode of the Schools of Excellence podcast. If you are loving the Schools of Excellence podcast and have gotten any value out of it for your school, I would love if you can do two things for me. 1, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And 2, can you please leave us a review? Reviews help other school leaders know that this is the place to learn how to build a school of excellence. And I would be so grateful if you can do that for us. Your help and support makes this show to be able to be listened by the thousands of other school leaders all around the world. Thanks so much for listening, for giving us your time and attention each and every week. And I appreciate that you have joined us. If your accountant has ever told you to cut back on professional development or slash your teacher appreciation budget or your staff development budget just so you could stay afloat, or has told you, hey, you probably can't go invest in that program, please listen. The problem is not that you're spending too much money on your people or yourself or your investment or your support system. It's that your school has invisible money leaks that are draining your profit, leaks that no spreadsheet will ever catch or accountant. So I created the 6 money leaks of schools that show you the 6 core areas that schools lose money every single month without realizing it. If you close even one of them, your profits will start to soar without sacrificing your team. Go get it now and stop blaming the things that are actually building your school.